Korean cases are my preference to cover. I seem to find stories more fascinating the closer I am. It could be in a geographical sense or a personal connection. Hence, why a lot of the cases I cover are places where I grew up or stories where I have some connection. However, the problem with true crime narrators when it comes to covering Korean cases revolves around the law. The identity of the victim is most often kept confidential, as well as the offender. Background information on both are also usually kept from the public as well. So, with no name or face to a victim or offender, it does make it hard to cover many cases. Which brings me to today's case. Today is a true case about a victim with no face or no name, but we will call her Miss A. But we do have a name and face for the offender and ex-boyfriend of the victim. G'day everyone, welcome to Bedtime Crime, a channel related to all things criminal. This channel is looking to explore not just true crime cases, but many other things related to crime. So, if this channel is something that you may be interested in, please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Let's get into today's case. Stalking. About 1 in 6 women and 1 in 17 men have had an experience with a stalker. It's a scary thing to experience. I myself have experienced light stalking. Though the person was very nice to my face, there was no doubt how extremely uncomfortable it was. A study showed that out of 358 homicide cases, 94% of them involved stalking. Some of the cases I have covered already have elements of stalking involved, like the Hannah Clark story. According to a law enforcement perspective, there are 4 principal classifications of stalker: the sadistic stalker, the delusional fixation stalker, the infatuation harassment stalker, and the ex-partner harassment stalker. Today's case covers the latter. Today's case had no other option but to leave the victim anonymous. It might be hard for you to relate to someone you can't put a face to, but it doesn't make the case any less disturbing. As mentioned earlier, our victim will go under the name Miss A. We don't know much about Miss A, but what we do know is that she was 32 years old. She has a younger sibling and a mother and father who loved her so much. She lived in an expensive area of Seoul but wasn't overly wealthy herself. She held down a job just like many, as average as they came really. But sadly, for her, she made the mistake of getting into a relationship with 35-year-old Kim Byung. Not much has come out about Kim as well. My presumption on Kim, given the details about his movements, attitudes reported, and his whereabouts, is that he is a man that didn't have a full-time job. He lacked social skills and at the time didn't have a lot of interests. The relationship with Miss A and Kim was reported to be not very long, but very turbulent. It was reported that Kim was abusive. He would strangle her and threaten her with a knife in his aggressive, angered state. Eventually, the abuse got too much for Miss A. She gathered up the strength and broke up with Kim in late 2020. But like most abusive partners, just because you break up with them doesn't always mean the torture is over, and Kim's behavior didn't stop there. Kim's stalking behavior started with a series of break-ins into Miss A's home. From December 2020, Kim broke into Miss A's residency around 10 times. Miss A lived alone in the Byung district, which is central Seoul, in what Koreans call an officetel, but is basically a studio flat. The break-ins were also grouped with verbal abuse. Miss A would get messages from Kim like, "Let's get back together. If we don't, I'll die, and I'll kill you too." A decision was made and Miss A would start to report to the police about Kim's behaviour. Miss A's first report to police came on the 26th of June 2021. Kim is reported once again entering Miss A's apartment. Though Miss A knew about the abuse that she was receiving from Kim, it's reported by the family that the police said they couldn't do anything about it. Police said to Miss A that since there was no evidence to suggest that he was actually stalking her, it limited any action that they could do. Police were looking for evidence such as video or photos showing Kim in the act of stalking Miss A. It isn't reported, but Miss A might have told Kim that she reported him to the police to scare him away, because the next report to the police wouldn't come for another 5 months. But this is when things started to get more serious and dangerous for Miss A. On November 7th, 8th and 9th, reports were made that things at home were getting worse and difficult and very uncomfortable, as Kim would be waiting outside Miss A's workplace around her finishing time. He would often confront her in the street or in front of her house. Regardless of her attempts to scare him off with the police, this time Kim wasn't going to let go. Around this time, Kim would have started to get the thought of, if I can't have you, no one can. And also, on November 7th, Kim started to search on the internet for murder weapons. Well, he may not have actually searched for murder weapons, but the word knife came up in his search history. You be the judge. With police reports coming in 3 days in a row, the police finally got involved, and Miss A was put under police protection. Kim was banned from seeing Miss A and had to stay 100 meters away from her. It was reported that Miss A feared for her life so much that she spent a night in a temporary shelter for victims of crime. It was around this time that police would also give Miss A a smartwatch which is designed to contact the police in case of emergencies. Miss A would also express concern to her friends. He said, "Do you want to get stabbed on your way to or from work? What do I do? Thank God there was a police station around the corner. It's dangerous to be by yourself." All the signs were there for the police to get involved, and even though they gave her a smartwatch and a night's rest in a shelter, it wouldn't prove to be enough. Around November 9th, and after police would contact Kim, Kim would go back to his residence in Busan, the second biggest city in South Korea, and around 300 kilometers from Seoul. During this time, Kim would still be constantly thinking about Miss A. Some would call him mentally sick, some would call him a monster, I would call him a piece of shit. However, just over a week later, Kim's uncontrolled emotions would build up more and more, and on November 18th, would make his way back up to Seoul. The same day of his arrival, Kim purchases a cap at a shopping mall near Miss A's residency. Kim then goes to another shopping mall in the area and purchases a knife. He later checks into a motel and stays the night. Friday morning, November 19th, Kim goes to Miss A's residency. At around 11:06 a.m, he checks out the car park to see if Miss A's car is still there. He sees her car and then makes his way up to her apartment, where he waits for her in the hallway. He's waiting for her to leave work. Now, the average commute time in South Korea is like most average workers around the world, between 7 to 10 a.m, but Miss A's commute time was a little later than most, and whether it was known by Kim while they were dating or because he would have watched her movements from afar, it can be presumed that Kim knew the time that she was going to leave. Kim didn't have to wait very long for Miss A, and only minutes later, Miss A walks out of her apartment around 11:25. As soon as she walks out, she sees Kim. It was reported that Kim then takes out the knife that he purchased the day before. Miss A sees the knife and immediately activates the smartwatch that the police gave her, and a distress signal is sent out at 11:29 a.m. Police get the signal and make their way to the location. However, the signal that the police were given sent them to the wrong place, and they arrived approximately 500 meters away from Miss A. Another distress signal was sent out at 11:33 a.m., 4 minutes after the initial signal. It is assumed at this time that Miss A was trying her best to talk Kim out of using the knife, remembering that he had threatened her before. There must have been some talk back and forth, and Miss A tried her best to stall the situation until the police came. However, at 11:41, Kim stabs Miss A, and the stabbing is reported to have lasted a whole minute. Think how long a whole minute of stabbing is. This is how brutal this man was. Kim then flees the scene and in the heat of the moment throws the knife across the stairs. Only minutes later, police finally arrive on the scene. Police were confronted with Miss A's body on the floor with stab wounds to her face and body. She was rushed to hospital but died on the way. Kim, now on the run, goes to the subway station and washes his hands and tries to destroy any evidence that he could. He gets on another form of transportation and heads to Daegu. Daegu is just under 300 kilometers from Seoul and just under 100 kilometers away from Kim's residence in Busan. Kim must have known that he would have been the one the police were looking for, given his history. However, he still tries his best to avoid the police, showing his lack of remorse, and checks into a hotel in Daegu, paying with cash to avoid the police tracking his bank records. However, with police having quick access to CCTV, it wasn't long before police found where he went, and Kim was arrested the day after the murder in his motel in Daegu. Kim told the court that the killing was not premeditated, and the purchase of the weapon was more of a tool for threatening than for killing. However, given Kim's abusive past, his searches he had made on his phone, and behavior leading up to the murder, the court wasn't convinced. Family and friend witnesses came forward to talk about the abusive nature that Miss A had to deal with during their relationship and also after. Kim could only blame his upbringing for his troubles. At this time, I have failed to find a sentencing, but there have been 8 charges against Kim, including revenge murder, stalking, and threatening. Under the Korean law, revenge murder is punishable by 10 or more years, which is extremely lenient. The Korean law has come under heavy criticism in the past for the leniency and punishments for criminals. The father of Miss A asked for the death penalty. However, South Korea's last execution was in 1997. This story drew strong public attention in South Korea, as Miss A was supposed to be under police protection. As mentioned earlier, certain murders in South Korea can be kept from the public. The identity of both the victim and offender can sometimes never reach the public, and regardless of the investigating, it would be illegal to accuse anyone of the crime under the law. However, police thought it was in the best interest of the public to reveal the face of this killer. If you or someone you know is suffering from abuse including stalking, please seek help. Thank you for watching Bedtime Crime. If you found this story interesting, why not check out some of the other cases? Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and we will see you on the next case.